Hey everyone, and welcome to our deep dive all about personal branding. The thing everyone's talking about, especially if you're looking to really stand out in the job market.
It's true. A lot of people think personal branding is just for influencers or CEOs, but it's so much more than that. It's about crafting a professional identity that really reflects who you are
Yeah.
and what you bring to the table, no matter what stage you're at in your career.
I love that. So it's not just about job hunting. It's bigger than that, right?
Mhm.
It's like building your reputation and showcasing your value so you can attract the right opportunities.
Exactly. Think about it like this. Elon Musk isn't just known for Tesla or SpaceX. He's built a personal brand that's synonymous with innovation, pushing boundaries, even a bit of, shall we say, eccentricity.
hmm
That brand recognition goes beyond any specific company.
Okay, so that's a great example. But for someone just starting to think about personal branding, where do they even begin? What does it actually mean to build a personal brand?
That's a great question. Think of your personal brand as your professional reputation. The image that comes to mind when someone hears your name in a work context. What are you known for? What are your strengths? What makes you stand out?
Okay, so it's kind of like your professional vibe, the impression you leave on people, whether it's colleagues, clients, or potential employers.
Exactly. It's about being intentional about how you present yourself and what you want to be known for in the professional world.
So let's say I'm on board with this whole personal branding thing. Why does it actually matter? Is it really going to make a difference in my career?
It absolutely can. In today's competitive job market, a strong personal brand can be a game changer. It helps you differentiate yourself from the sea of other qualified candidates. Think about it. If a recruiter is looking at two resumes, both with similar skills and experience, but one candidate has a strong online presence that showcases their expertise in thought leadership, who do you think they're going to be more interested in?
The one who's put themselves out there, for sure. I'd be way more likely to reach out to someone I already felt like I knew something about, especially if they had interesting ideas and perspectives related to my industry.
Exactly. That's the power of personal branding. It's about building trust and credibility before you even walk into an interview room.
I'm starting to see the light here, but it still feels a little overwhelming. Like, where do you even start with all of this?
I get it. It can feel like a lot. But the first step is actually pretty simple. You need to unlock your unique value.
Okay, hold on. What does that actually mean? What is my unique value?
It's about figuring out what makes you you. What are you truly passionate about? What problems do you love solving? What skills and experiences do you have that nobody else can replicate? It's like your own personal recipe, a blend of talents, perspectives, and experiences that make you uniquely qualified for certain roles or opportunities.
Right. So it's not just about listing out your skills on a resume. It's about digging deeper and understanding how those skills combine to create something special, something that sets you apart from the crowd.
Precisely. It's about recognizing your strengths and owning what makes you stand out, even if it feels a little different or unconventional.
So once I've figured out this whole unique value thing,
Yeah.
what do I do next? Do I just shout it from the rooftops?
Well, you could try that, but there are probably more effective strategies. Once you have a clear understanding of your unique value proposition, it's time to start building your online headquarters.
Online headquarters. I like the sound of that. Is
Mhm.
this where we start talking about LinkedIn profiles and all that jazz?
You got it. Think about it. Nowadays, one of the first things people do when they hear your name, especially in a professional context, is Google you.
Huh.
What do you want them to find? What story do you want to tell about yourself?
That's so true. You want to make sure your online presence is representing you, well, not scaring people away with outdated photos or questionable social media posts.
Right. It's all about controlling the narrative and showcasing the best version of your professional self. And your online headquarters is the perfect place to do that. So let's talk about the key platforms.
Okay, so we're back and we're ready to start building this online HQ. You mentioned platforms. Where do we begin?
Well, LinkedIn is your absolute must-have. It's like the digital handshake of the professional world. Make sure your profile has a professional photo that reflects your personality. You don't have to be super serious, but it should convey that you're competent and approachable.
And don't forget the headline. That's your chance to grab attention and make people want to learn more.
Yeah.
It shouldn't just be your job title. Get creative and use it to highlight your unique value proposition.
Exactly. It's like a mini billboard for your personal brand. And then, of course, there's the summary section. This is your opportunity to tell your story, showcase your key skills and accomplishments, and really articulate what makes you stand out. Don't be afraid to infuse it with some personality. Make it engaging and memorable.
Right. And what about sharing content on LinkedIn? I've heard that can be a really powerful way to build your brand.
Absolutely. Think about it. When you share insightful articles or post your own thoughts on industry trends, you're positioning yourself as a thought leader. You're demonstrating your expertise and adding value to the conversation.
So it's not just about broadcasting your resume. It's about showing people what you know and how you think.
Precisely. And it keeps your profile active and engaging, which can help you attract more connections and opportunities.
Okay, LinkedIn makes sense. But what about a personal website or portfolio? Is that still relevant in this age of social media?
It's more relevant than ever. Think of it like this. LinkedIn is like your apartment in a great neighborhood. It's a great base, but it's still rented space. Your
Um,
personal website. That's your custom-built dream home.
Ooh, like the analogy.
You have complete control over the design, the content, the message. You can showcase your work, your projects, your testimonials in a way that truly reflects your brand.
Right, because on LinkedIn, you're kind of limited by their format.
Yeah.
But on your own website, you can really let your creativity shine.
Exactly. You can tell your story in your own words and highlight the things that are most important to you. Plus, having your own domain name looks super professional and makes it easy for people to find you.
Okay, so we've talked about LinkedIn and personal websites. What about social media? It feels like everyone's on there these days. But how do you use it effectively for personal branding?
It's true. Social media can be a powerful tool for building your brand, but it can also be a bit of a minefield.
Yeah.
The key is to use it strategically and make sure your social media presence aligns with your professional goals.
So maybe hold back on those late-night karaoke videos, unless you're trying to build a career as a singer.
Right. It's about showcasing your expertise, engaging in industry discussions, and connecting with other professionals in your field.
So it's less about broadcasting your personal life and more about building a professional community.
Exactly. Think of it as an extension of your online HQ. You're using social media to share your insights, build relationships, and stay top of mind with the people who matter most to your career.
Okay, so we've covered LinkedIn, personal websites, and social media. What about good old-fashioned networking? A lot of people, myself included, get a little nervous about putting ourselves out there in person.
I get it, networking can feel intimidating, but it doesn't have to be a dreaded experience. The key is to shift your mindset and approach it with a spirit of generosity.
Generosity. What do you mean by that?
Think of networking not as trying to get something from someone, but as an opportunity to connect with others and offer value.
So it's not about handing out your business card to everyone in the room and hoping something sticks. It's about having genuine conversations and finding ways to help each other out.
Exactly. People can spot a phony a mile away, but when you genuinely connect with others and offer your help or expertise, you build trust and create lasting relationships. And those relationships can lead to amazing opportunities down the road.
Okay, that makes networking feel a lot less scary.
Yeah.
So besides attending events, what are some other ways to network effectively?
There are so many options these days. Joining industry groups on LinkedIn or other platforms is a great way to connect with like-minded professionals and participate in discussions.
And don't forget about attending webinars or virtual conferences. It's a great way to learn new things and expand your network from the comfort of your own home.
Right. And remember, networking isn't just about meeting new people. It's also about nurturing the relationships you already have. Stay in touch with your former colleagues, reach out to people you admire, and always be willing to offer your support or expertise.
So it's all about building genuine connections and fostering a sense of community.
Exactly. When you approach networking with that mindset, it becomes a much more enjoyable and rewarding experience.
This is all great stuff.
Yeah.
But once you've built this awesome personal brand, how do you keep it fresh and relevant over time? I mean, things change so quickly these days.
That's where brand maintenance comes in. Think of it like tending a garden. You need to water it, prune it, and make sure it gets enough sunshine to keep it thriving.
Okay, I love the analogy. So what are some of the things we need to do to keep our personal brand garden looking healthy?
Well, one simple but important thing is to Google yourself regularly.
Oh, the dread Google search.
Yeah.
That can be a bit scary.
I know, but it's necessary. You want to see what comes up when someone searches for your name and make sure the information is accurate and reflects the brand you want to project.
Right, because you don't want that embarrassing photo from college popping up when a potential employer searches for you.
Exactly. And keep your LinkedIn profile and other online platforms updated with your latest accomplishments and skills. You want people to see the most current and impressive version of yourself.
So it's not a one-and-done thing. Personal branding is an ongoing process.
Absolutely. It evolves as you grow and learn.
Well, on that note, I think we've covered a lot of ground here in part 2 of our deep dive into personal branding. We talked about what a personal brand is, why it matters, and how to start building one that reflects your unique value. We even got into some strategies for building your online presence, making networking feel a little less scary.
It's been a great conversation so far. And in the next part of our deep dive, we're going to explore the exciting world of thought leadership. We'll talk about how to become a go-to expert in your field, even if you don't feel like you're quite there yet.
That sounds fascinating. I can't wait to hear more about that. All right, we're back and ready to dive into thought leadership. It sounds like it's all about sharing your expertise and insights in a way that really connects with people and adds value, not just about being super famous.
Exactly. It's about offering your unique perspective, even if you're just starting out. And being genuinely passionate about what you're sharing. People can tell if you're not really into it, you know?
Yeah, for sure. So how can we actually become thought leaders? What are some things we can try?
Well, one of the most effective ways is through content creation.
Content creation.
Mm.
That sounds kind of broad.
Mhm.
What exactly does that mean?
It could be anything from writing blog posts and articles to creating videos or even podcasts. The key is to find what works best for you and what your audience likes. Some people love reading long articles while others prefer short videos.
All right, you got to meet your audience where they are.
Yeah.
And the cool thing is content creation can be so many things. You can write, speak, make videos, or even do all of them.
Exactly. And the more you create, the better you'll get. Don't be afraid to experiment and find your own style.
So where should we be sharing all this great content? We talked about LinkedIn and personal websites, but are there other platforms we should be thinking about?
LinkedIn and your website are awesome starting points. But depending on your field and who you're trying to reach, other platforms like Medium, YouTube, or even Instagram could be good options. Go where your people are.
Makes sense. No point in talking to an empty room.
Exactly.
Hmm.
And don't be afraid to repurpose your content across different platforms. Like you could turn a blog post into a series of social media posts or make a video from a presentation you gave.
Work smarter, not harder, right?
Absolutely. And speaking of presentations, public speaking is another awesome way to boost your thought leadership.
Okay, wait. Public speaking, that's terrifying. I
Yeah.
don't know if I could do that.
I get it. It can be scary, especially if you're not used to it. But you can totally build that skill with practice. And you don't have to jump right into giving a TED Talk. Start small. Maybe speak at local events, workshops, or webinars.
And kind of ease into it.
Yeah. And the more you do it, the more comfortable you'll get. Plus, there's nothing like connecting with an audience and sharing your ideas in person.
Okay, you're making me think about it.
Yeah.
What else besides content creation and public speaking can we do for thought leadership?
Social media can be really powerful for thought leadership if you use it strategically.
We talked about social media already, right?
We did, but this time we're thinking about it differently. It's not just about random updates or funny memes. It's about using social media to have meaningful discussions, share your knowledge, and connect with other thought leaders in your field.
So adding something valuable to the conversation, not just more noise.
Exactly. You can do that by sharing your own content, commenting on other people's posts, joining relevant Twitter chats, or even just asking good questions.
So it's a way to show you're engaged and knowledgeable and that you're bringing something to the table.
Exactly. And by being active in those conversations, you'll not only learn from others, but also start building your reputation as a thought leader.
Wow, we've covered content creation, public speaking, social media. But how do we know if it's actually working? How do we measure if our thought leadership is successful?
That's a great question. And honestly, it depends.
Depends on what.
It depends on your goals. What are you hoping to get out of your thought leadership? Are you trying to boost your reputation, get more leads, find a new job, or something else entirely?
Right. Makes sense. You can't measure success if you don't know what you're aiming for.
Exactly.
Mm.
So once you've figured out your goals, what are some specific things you can track to see if you're on the right path?
Give us some examples.
Okay, if you want to be more visible, you could track things like website traffic, social media followers, or mentions in industry publications. Are more people finding you online? Are they engaging with your content? Are you getting invited to speak at events or write for publications?
Those are good signs that your message is getting out there. What if you're focused on building credibility as a thought leader? What could you track then?
You might track speaking engagements, publications, or even how many times your content is shared or mentioned by others. Are you being seen as an expert? Are people coming to you for advice? Are you influencing conversations in your industry?
So you're looking for signs that people aren't just hearing your ideas, but they're also having an impact.
Exactly. And if your goal is more like getting leads or a new job, you could track things like how many inquiries you're getting, invitations to interview, or even job offers.
That's a real way to see how your personal brand is opening up new opportunities.
It is. But remember, thought leadership and personal branding in general take time. It's not an overnight thing. It's about consistently showing up, providing value, and building relationships over time.
That's so important. It's about letting your reputation grow naturally. So we've come to the end of our deep dive into personal branding. We've talked about finding your unique value, building your online presence networking, becoming a thought leader, and even measuring your success. It's been an awesome journey.
It has. And remember, folks, the most important thing is to take action. Don't get overwhelmed by all this information. Just start small. Pick one thing you want to try and go for it. The more you experiment and put yourself out there, the more you'll learn and grow. You never know what amazing opportunities might come your way.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into personal branding. We'll see you next time for another exciting exploration into the world of knowledge and ideas.